morning.
Hello.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Medicare Cafe pre-chat. We're just logging on just like a minute early because it's AEP and things are going crazy. And you know what? It's an AEP of a holiday weekend.
Ooh.
Raise your hand if you were personally victimized by the Microsoft outage yesterday. Twas I. Wow, and what a time to be experiencing that.
It's a good time. Let's work on the CMS systems. Let's have Microsoft go down. What else could go wrong?
Don't ask that. Last year, or a couple years ago, was a pandemic. So don't ask what more could go wrong.
You win this round.
I do. I win most rounds. My hair is also like, girl, it's a holiday week. What you doing? And no one told her that a lot of things still have to get done this week. So welcome to the Medicare Cafe. You are joined by your hosts. My name's Olivia Richardson.
And I'm Clayton Clements. Happy to be back.
Happy to be back. Exactly. Clayton's been out for the last few weeks, but we got him back, wrangled him down, wrestled him, and told him he had to be on the cafe because his friends missed him. So we're excited to have you back.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Happy to be here.
Good. Okay. So as we know, during the Medicare Cafe, we are doing our What's Brewing week on What's Brewing. And honestly, we have 2 more episodes of What's Brewing because after that, guys, AEP's over.
Ugh.
We have a week and a half left of AEP.
Real. I had a really tough time because, Thanksgiving in my head, Olivia and I have the same birthday.
We do.
November 30th.
We're Irish twins? Is that what that's called?
Oh.
I've always heard if you have the same birthday but not the same year, an Irish twin.
Yes, I am older.
I might be offensive there, and I didn't know. Please don't cancel me if that's offensive. I don't know.
But I always picture our birthday being a week behind Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So it being just a couple days, it
Yes.
just throws my brain in a loop. So I'm still struggling with December's almost here. It's gonna snow on Saturday.
It's supposed to snow on Saturday. It's truly insane. The fact that and it makes a really good point, and I'll tell you why, is because Deaf Research says that sales, there's always kind of these stages of AEP. The first 2 weeks, about 80% of individuals make a plan selection the first 2 weeks. We kind of see it simmer and ups and downs and the peaks and valleys. And then the last 2 weeks, after Thanksgiving, the last 2 weeks, sales jump up by 20%. So that's what Deaf Research sees every year. They don't know what to predict this year, not only because AEP has been nuts, but also because Thanksgiving was such a smushed, there's only a week in between Thanksgiving and the end of AEP, and that's not normal.
Right.
November had an extra week thrown in there, so everything's just kind of thrown off. So they're saying we kind of don't know what to expect, if it's going to continue to see that runway, or if it's because it's smushed, if it's going to be more intense.
I mean, those numbers, whenever I hear number stuff, I'm how can I make this make sense to my non-number people like me? And I'm that totally checks out. When I turn 65, I 1,000% will be the last 2 weeks of AEP Get It Done guy. I picked our health insurance on the very last day.
Truly.
So that is my MO. And also, if I was an agent, I know if there was some stuff lingering around, I'd be I don't really want to do it around the holidays and just push it to the end.
Well, also keep in mind, too, not only was there an extra week in November, so 1 less week of post-Thanksgiving AEP timeline, but it was also an election year.
Right.
So a lot of people, I don't know why, again, I do know why, but it's not logical. A lot of people wanted to wait until after November, 6th this year, November 4th? They want to wait until that Tuesday to make their Medicare selection. So, there's a couple of things that are making people delay their choice this year. Making it to our next week is going to be truly wild.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, it'll be after the holidays, it'll be 5 more business days left in the selling season, and we haven't seen a slowdown of enrollment. So it's prepared to enjoy your turkey and then have to reintroduce yourself to your family.
Also, because I didn't get to do this on pre-chat, what's the Thanksgiving plans? Are you a traditionalist? Are you a let's go to Red Lobster?
Oh. No, I am. Are you really?
Yeah.
I love that. Good for you.
I'll tell mine after.
Well,
It's
no.
not about me. I asked you.
Mine is just my husband's side of the family. They start frying turkeys at 7 a.m. complete with mimosas, and
Can I come?
bread beers and Bloody Marys. Of course you
Okay,
can
I'm coming.
come. They take the poor, the weak, the sick, the hungry. Everybody's welcome to
I
the
think I'm
Richardson
all of
Thanksgiving.
those.
I am all of those as well. So they do that, and then they're having it at the farm this year. So it's gonna be just a rootin' tootin' good time. It always is.
Okay, we'll talk about mine later.
No, I wanna hear, what are you
Slight
doing? Like,
interruption. No,
no,
go.
what are you doing? Red Lobster?
So every year, Caitlin's family, so like my in-laws side, we go out to eat for lunch.
Oh,
We
that-
used to do Cracker Barrel. Last year they wanted to make us wait an hour and a half, and we said absolutely not.
That's wild that Cracker Barrel has that much of a
It's
wait on
so busy.
Thanksgiving.
Well, it's because the Bob Evans like was closed until
Again, wild that that's a thing on Thanksgiving.
anyway. So last year we said no, thank you. We went to Red Lobster, being like, yeah, it's good. It was amazing. They had like lobster stuffing.
Oh, it's so
Oh,
good.
so good. Anyway, you could do traditional enough there just with seafood. And then in the evening we go over to my parents' house and we do like the more traditional turkey ham.
Fun.
It's a really full day. It's awesome.
Truly, like both figuratively and
Yes.
like my belly will be so full. Okay. So would love to know what you guys are doing for the Thanksgiving holidays. I mean, I do know a lot of people will still work and still take apps on there. I always like with my other side of the family, we always wait because I get cornered by all my aunts, uncles, and saying like, okay, so what do I need to do this year? And so I'm actually not going to that side of the family this year. So I imagine when they realize I'm not there, I'm gonna get
You get some
panic
phone
calls.
calls.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna get some phone calls like, what the hell should I be doing with this? That's usually their time to ask me those questions. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So going into, again, with the What's Brewing series, we're going to talk about some other updates that we have so far. Now, obviously, number one being a week and a half left of AEP. Next week is going to probably be a huge spike in your sales. So be prepared for that. Make sure your staff's prepared for that last final push. In addition to that, please, for the love of all that is holy, take some time and check your apps, check your statuses, check your carriers, check your portals, because every single year something happens and an app didn't get submitted, maybe a signature was missing, maybe there was a glitch in a system and the carrier does not receive an app, and you don't know about it until you don't get paid your commissions on it, and at that point it's too late. And if you're going to wait, usually, if you're waiting until the last week of AEP, you're going to be spending incredibly long time on hold. You're going to be really frustrated with the carriers because everybody's going to be checking next week, and it's the last selling season. So typically, people who are in the support side of the carriers get transitioned into the enrollment side, and that's why it's taking incredibly long for you to get help if you're calling the carrier directly. So please, for the love of all that is good, this week, Friday, take some time and actually review your carriers, review your apps to make sure they're all getting processed, no problem.
For sure. That's something where I would definitely start suggesting it this week. Not only because it's a holiday, but because then you still have time to fix it. Because that person might not answer the phone whenever you call them back and say, hey,
So
we actually
true.
need to do something else here. So it gives them a little bit of time to respond. But also just thinking through of like, how logistically are you going to do this? And I think this year kind of plays out well with the holiday of Black Friday. Not as a lot of people would want to be doing things. You're not going to be wanting to do as much. But you can sit there, have your Black Friday shopping open on one browser, and your carrier is open on another. Do a carrier, do a store. Do another carrier, go back and do another store.
I like that. I like that thought process. But yes, if you're going to be on time, especially Cyber Monday, isn't it Cyber Monday?
Yeah, but like
it's Black
everything's online
Friday,
anymore.
local Saturday, Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
So just do the thing. Do the damn thing. Another update I wanted to give you guys, there's going to be some more industry level updates. Number one, if you hadn't heard, the 2026 final rule did get released this morning from CMS. And Daddy Dr. Oz hasn't looked it over yet. I don't know why.
It's real life.
we don't, obviously he has not been initiated into, for those of you who don't know, Dr. Oz was the Trump's elect to take over CMS and oversee that. But obviously hasn't gone through yet. I'm just being silly. But the 2026 CMS regulations have come out. Our compliance officer, Chaylin Jackson, has been reading those since this morning. Everybody say a sweet prayer for him. But we will give you guys updates on what exactly has been announced. I was talking to Clayton about this morning. He goes, I have PTSD because the last few years, it's been like a world-rocking changes. I honestly don't expect, I expect a little bit more clarification on what's going on with the final ruling from this year and the involvement of FMOs. I don't, because of the stay that the Americans for Beneficiaries Choice enacted, meaning that it was likely not going to go through because of the jurisdiction of CMS at the time. I said a lot of words there. What I mean is, I see a little bit more clarification on that. I don't see a danger right now for agents, and I don't see a danger right now for FMOs. In fact, going forward, looking whenever Dr. Oz does become, or if he does get voted into that rule and into that in that position, he is very pro Medicare Advantage. Dr. Oz has traditionally been very pro Medicare Advantage, so that is a good news usually for insurance agents and good news for Medicare Advantage companies compared to the team overseeing that in the past.
Yeah, the first thing I said when she mentioned the final rule coming out was like, is there anything scary on there?
We don't know yet. I don't foresee there being scary things. I just see clarifications based on last year and maybe even some points where we pull back compared to last year. We will have details and we will have a summary coming soon, probably by tonight or this afternoon. Shaylin will be able to kind of look through it and give us the 411.
Well, if I think back to like a couple years ago when we had all the changes with call recordings and stuff, you even kind of mentioned to me like, hey, there's probably a good chance that it gets more strict and then we'll kind of calm down. So maybe this is that calm down coming.
We'll see. There's just so much going on with the Medicare Advantage doing what it did this past year, and the Biden administration trying to, I'm going to use the terms fix, don't come after me, but try to fix some of the rulings that they made earlier with, like, you know, what they did to the IRA, what they did in other cases, the rule of the standing of the FMOs and TPMOs and things like that. So it's likely that nothing major came out except for I'm imagining it's just some more clarification and nothing earth-shattering coming out this CMS rule update. But we will see. We will see. Another update for you guys, another more in the legislation in the industry-wide world, is that United Healthcare won their case against CMS when it came to their star ratings. As we know, earlier this AEP, CMS announced everybody's star ratings, and there was only 7 plans available that had a 5-star rating. Just massively hucked out the majority of carriers out there. Mostly it was just regional carriers that could still offer 5-star ratings. United Healthcare said, hold my beer, watch what we can do, and won their case against CMS, and CMS now has to recalculate specifically United Healthcare's star ratings, making it very likely we'll start to see more 5-star plans available for United Healthcare. Now that the ruling was only specifically for United Healthcare, so it's likely that we'll see other carriers follow suit, and that same ruling apply to other carriers who were formerly 5-star, but right now it's just United Healthcare.
Is there like, I don't even know the right term, like an estimated like turnaround on something like that?
No,
it's pretty like unprecedented.
It
like,
is
I've
very
never heard
unprecedented. It happened earlier this year with the scan lawsuit. They also won their case against CMS and gained back some 5-star ratings. But what's interesting and what I don't know the answer to is one that absolutely will affect enrollment seasons, to where 5-star plans, you'll have more options to enroll those all year round. But it also affects the finances of that company.
Right. Yeah.
And what's interesting is it affects the finances for 2025 plans. So they're making these decisions and likely to get more investment in 2025 plans, but they can't pocket that money. That money, again, only 80% of the finances a carrier has must be reinvested into the plan. So I'm interested in how, if they're required to, or what that's going to look like to reinvest that income from having 5-star availability at that time. We'll see. They may say, like, okay, you have to do that in 2026 plan offerings. Long story short, not only is United Healthcare the clear winner for a majority of the country this AEP, but they also won a pretty big case. So expecting to see United Healthcare in the future continue to be a cream of the crop. I don't like that. I don't like the word cream in that.
Top shelf.
Oh, shelf.
So on the like kind of industry side with that, talking budgets for the carriers, if I'm correct, the 4.5 stars get the same budget as the 5 stars, correct? It's just they lose the enrollment opportunities.
That I'm not 100% sure. I thought it was. I think
they get it for one more year or something.
It was 4.5 was the threshold, I believe, for the financing, but I don't know 100%. So that's a great point. Now, I did get a question here. What is the final rule? So a final rule is something that CMS puts out usually around this time. It goes in stages. So then you have the final rule, and then you have time for comment, and then you have the final ruling. And what the final rule is, it's CMS publishing what exactly do agents, providers, insurance carriers, what rules do we all have to abide by? And it basically says you can thank the final ruling for things like the disclaimers that are required, the call recording that is required on sales appointments. You can thank it for earlier this year, whenever the ability for marketing dollars, FMO overrides, sub agencies, that was all into question, was because of the final ruling. So it's basically just CMS telling insurance agents, carriers, and providers how to play ball that next year. We'll see. The final rule is also like why you have the 48-hour scope of appointment rule. That's because of the CMS, its final ruling back in 21. I think that's when that came back. So.
Yeah, it's always wild to see, because it's like, it feels like the final rule. Like, this is for sure what it's going to be. And like, this is the super early final rule. And then the commenting on the final rule. And then, like she said, the final rule. So it's like, whatever this says today doesn't necessarily mean what it's going to be tomorrow. So like, we just got to come back to that.
Exactly. So a couple more updates. I wanted to remind you guys again, 1.5 weeks of AEP left. UHC won their star rating case. 2026 final ruling is out. Reminder to check carriers, everything like that in between. Don't forget DSNP. Again, the fact that the DSNP election is different for 2025, meaning that it only applies to those who are enrolling into an integrated plan. So if you don't have an integrated plan available in your service area, or you want to make sure your people are on a DSNP plan, you only have until the end of AEP to get that done. Service area reductions, again, all-time high. I've said this every Medicare Cafe, but it's appropriate to say again. All-time high right now for service area reductions. So that means two things. Number one, that election period starts December 8th, goes through February 28th. Even if you enrolled your client into a new plan for effective January 1st, if their current plan is experiencing an SAR, they still can use that election. So technically they have AEP, OEP, and SAR to make changes to their plan. So keep that in mind, can extend your AEP even further. Also, keep in mind those people are at high risk with call centers. Call centers right now, of course, the last week and a half of AEP, call centers are at an all-time high because they understand if I move them, it's likely that less chance that they're going to be moved off, or that business is more sticky. So watch out for those call center people and the SARs. They will use an SAR election to kind of get that one out of the way so that they can't use it later. So just make sure, really educate your clients on what calls they should be taking and what calls they shouldn't be taking. Last but not least, please, 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 on your Medicare supplements, understand that Medicare supplements right now are talking about what their guarantee issue ratios are right now. Carriers who are usually getting between 10 to 16% of underwritten business are experiencing upwards of 33 to 40% of guarantee issue business because of these service area reductions. So just keep that in mind, that is absolutely going to contribute to the prices going up, 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 and up. So always remember, if you have the opportunity, if your client is interested in a Medicare supplement plan because of the rate stability first and foremost, that usually 9 out of 10 times will require underwriting. So it's a really good idea to try to underwrite them into a plan N. If they can't pass through underwriting, then go ahead and put them on a GI, on a plan F or G, depending on the macro rule. You need to make sure you're doing whatever you can to take care of your client, but make sure you're making them aware of the plan N option. There are a ton of bonuses, trip opportunities, extra income right now that MedSeps are offering for underwritten business. So make sure you're always doing what's in the best interest of your client. Never step away from the best interest of your client, but just extra motivation to give Plan N a second look for that business. Oh, Brian, legit question alert. Brian, I love how you have to start off with this is a real one. Why are some Medicare numbers, Medicare ID numbers changing? So this was actually a result. If you want to get the full 411 on this, who says 411? How are we doing 1990? But if you want to get the full information on why some Medicare numbers are changing, we did talk about this about 3 or 4, probably longer than that now, 5 weeks ago on the Medicare Cafe, one of the early episodes of What's Brewing. There was, if you guys remember earlier this year, Medicare got hacked. CMS was hacked. And a lot of the information that was at risk were Social Security numbers and Medicare ID numbers. And it was a third party who processed Part B claims. We have a whole blog on it. Again, go revisit that Medicare Cafe episode. But it was a third party, I believe in Wisconsin, that processed Part B claims, and their systems got hacked. So it's not just affecting beneficiaries in that state, it is affecting beneficiaries nationwide, but not every beneficiary. So in order to make sure those beneficiaries who were affected were protected, they are reissuing them Medicare numbers. So, and that actually happened earlier this year, like April, May timeframe is when that hack happened. So if you had individuals who used their Part B benefits in that time or before that, it's likely that they will be getting reissued new Medicare numbers.
Yeah, it's been causing a little bit of issues, but just making sure that your clients have their most up-to-date card. If there ever is any of the issues, that's something that you'll find out during your app checks. So again, make sure you're doing those app checks because you might get something weird that comes back with a wrong MBI or something like that when you turned in an application earlier thinking, yeah, that's what was on their card. We're good to go. So definitely something to check out.
Hopefully that answers your question, Brian. Somebody says, do you know how I can look up that hacked episode of Medicare Cafe? Just go to the Medicare Cafe YouTube page. You're on it currently. And I believe it's one of the earlier episodes. They're not titled anything different, but it would be either the first 2 weeks of AEP, I believe, is when that episode aired. So check it out. Maybe we can repost it in the Facebook group.
Yeah, we can do that and then maybe throw the blog in the comments as well.
And there's also, again, to read the blog, there is a blog on that topic. Go to smsteam.net, click on news, and you can be able to use phrases like CMS hack or things like that, or just scroll down and see the content we have here as well. There's lots of places to find it. Somebody else asked, again, why Plan N? Because cheaper? Plan N, yes, Plan N is considerably cheaper compared to F and G, but the number one reason why I would recommend a Medicare Supplement Plan N, or at least look at it, is going to be rate stability.
Yeah.
F and G are considered guarantee issue plans depending on when somebody became eligible. And so that means somebody who is really, really sick and can't get a Medicare supplement otherwise, if they are in a guarantee issue situation, can easily enroll into a Plan G. Again, also Plan N there's not been a ton of education around Medicare supplements Plan N. So it's not one that a lot of people are talking about, that people are recommending to each other. So it's insuring less lives, but the lives that they are insuring are healthier lives because 9 out of 10 times you have to underwrite to get on it. So the rate stability is incredible when you're seeing well beyond double-digit rate increases for Plans G right now. Plan N is still having very low rate increases because they aren't experiencing those loss ratios. So it's cheaper, it's great coverage, and the rates are much more stable.
For sure. That's something too that think about when someone's turning 65, they're probably going to be more comfortable going with something that they've heard of or that their neighbors on or their family members are on. Little chance that that's going to be a Plan N because they could use their open enrollment and get onto a Plan N, but it's just not going to be something they're comfortable with.
It's not, people don't know it. People aren't talking about it like they are G.
Yeah, and most of the time they're going to ask so do I have an option of switching to that cheaper plan later if I don't like this? And they'd be like, yeah, you do. But it's underwritten, and good luck getting on it after a few surgeries or a few other conditions that pop up. So, you'll see a lot lower rate or loss ratios on there. Some of the carriers, when they do their rate increases, I do kind of want to shout this out as a lot of them will kind of do it across the board, but it might be 10% across all plans. However, that 10% increase is going to hurt a lot less over on Plan N because the starting point was already so much lower. There's not a lot of things that are going to get someone to have their monthly premium from a Plan N equal what it is on a Plan G. I believe we've done a couple webinars on Plan N as well. So SMS YouTube page is going to be your best friend to get more Plan N information versus I could tell you it all right now, but we'd be here another 30 minutes.
Right. And I don't want to do that. I don't have the attention span. So... But any other questions, comments, concerns, threats, or promises, let us know. Again, this is just what's been going on in the last week. A couple of these updates happened in the last 24 hours. So we'll always keep you apprised We'll let you know what's going on and how you guys can continue to stay prepared and ready.
I'm going to throw one more reminder out there.
Please.
Is let's say you've got a smaller book of business and you've already kind of worked your way through it. Do your app checks, but also start looking at those people that might have shown any kind of interest in any of your ancillary products. The fourth quarter's got some amazing bonuses. I'll just shout out GTL as one that every year has a really nice bonus, but a lot of carriers put some emphasis on the ancillary products. You know, maybe they're not in the Medicare Advantage game, but this is their way to kind of play along. Something just keep in mind, listen to what people are telling you. A lot of people like to talk this time of year, so they could be dropping some nuggets that you're just not picking up or want to circle back to in a day.
Can we have a game?
Yes.
Have you seen those reels where it's like corporate jargon and like come up with like new corporate jargon? Some of them are so creative and I'm like, I need to start using those.
Yeah, we've shared a few of those.
Yeah.
I need to go back.
Maybe sometime through the end of the year, we'll have a contest on best made up corporate jargon.
Yeah, because like the circle back,
the circle. There was a couple things that were said that I'm like I die a little bit inside, but there's
not a better term, but then it's like, okay, we need to really blank.
There's so many of them.
I was gonna force it. Nope. Yeah.
We'll come back to you on that. All right, guys, we appreciate you all hanging out with us today. This episode was a little bit longer, but we had a lot of updates, and we only have one more after this, Medicare Cafe, What's Brewing, and this series. So we'll keep you guys alert. Make sure you join our Facebook page if you have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, or promises, or you want to let us know what you want us to talk about or any questions that like, hey, I just heard this. Can you dispel this rumor? Can you give me some updates? That is my number. You can text me at any time. I try to answer within 24 hours, especially Monday through Friday. I will also answer you on Thanksgiving. So if you just want to text me a gobble gobble, you're more than welcome to. Or of course, always comment on our social media, comment on our YouTube stuff. We'll make sure to get you guys answered. Mary says, I was late. How do I get the updates? Which update, Mary? Make sure again, all of our updates, all of these episodes are recorded and posted on our YouTube page. So anytime you miss an episode, you can rewatch it there. We also make sure to always keep our blog on smsteam.net under news. We try to keep that up to date. That's where I pull a lot of the content here. And if you're asking about how we're going to give you guys updates and what we're learning about the 2026 final ruling, trust me, as soon as we get it figured out, we will be posting videos, lives, blasting it from every mountaintop we can. So we will make sure to give you guys that update as we can. Somebody must be talking about me. My nose is itchy. My son, last thing. My son, one of his things when he's sleeping and it's like a comfort thing, you know how kids like play with their hair. He's a thumb sucker too. But every once in a while when you can tell he's really tired because he'll scratch his nose and like the hearing, he just gets after it. And he doesn't like know how to use his fingernails. So he just rubs his nose and it's just like the grinding of the cartilage. I just did it there and I was like, oh, 4-year-olds are gross.
Yeah, I hate that.
Okay. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Clayton, for coming back with us. Got a lot more fun, a lot more interesting, a lot more cool things to talk about. So we'll see you next time, 10 a.m. Tuesday, Medicare Cafe. That's us. So until next time, have fun.
Make money.
And give impeccable service.